Welcome back. Um, what I've done here is I have two UV map channels on each of these. I've sorted out the map channels. I haven't done that for the door or for these two windows here because this technique is mainly for modular assets. So what we're going to do here is export them one by one. How we export them is you need to make sure that the pivot point of the object is at grid level, because when we export things into UDK, it takes the pivot point based on the grid and not based on where your pivot point is inside 3D Studio Max. So I'm gonna go to File, Export, and I don't want to click on Export here because if I do, we'll export everything. I want to just export what I have selected. So I'm gonna select that and I'm gonna go to my folder and I'm gonna call this wall underscore 128x64. I'm gonna say save. Again, just make sure smoothing group is checked and embed media is checked and press OK. Now I'm gonna move this out of the way, select this one and make sure that I zero out the pivot points. File, export, File, export, export selected. All the settings are right, so I can just say window base underscore curved. And I'm going to say save. Those settings are okay, so I can press OK. And then I could move this to the side, the door. I'm going to call this, actually I need to give this a name. I'll call this door. File, export, export selected, door, save, or could I call it main door because that's the door to the building. I'm going to select that and I'm going to zero this out. File, export, export selected. This is wall 128 times 64 underscore corner. Press OK, put that across. Next one, zero it all out. What I'm going to do is actually I'll pause the video and I'll continue doing this, and then I'll see you in the next in a bit. Okay, I've exported all of these now as this individual FBX. I might just go and save this in a queue, close the Max, and we are going to go ahead and open UDK. Okay, UDK is open now. I'm gonna go to the content browser. In case if your content browser is closed, you can click on this icon over here and it will increase it or open it. I'm gonna go to import and I'm gonna go find my folders mention. Okay, what I need is all the FBX files, and all of those FBX files are being textured by the TGA. I'm gonna say open, but I'm gonna call this package mansion, and I'm gonna call the grouping static meshes SM, and then make sure that you have material and textures checked and OK to all. What it will do is it will create a group called mansion, and it will create three groups: one for static meshes, one for materials, and one for textures. So here now I have a group called mansion. I have all the assets in here. I have materials and I have textures. And now if I was to put this box here, for example, and in the top view, now if your grid is not tiling or it doesn't snap to your boxes, either you've modeled the boxes wrong or your grids are too high. So you can use the brackets next to the enter key in order to increase or decrease the grid size. I'm going to hold Alt and drag and put that there, and I'm going to hold Alt and drag and put that there, and I'm going to look at the walls from here, and I'm going to go to build, lighting, and I'm going to say OK. Okay, lighting is done. Now when you look at this, there is no way that you can tell where one wall ends and the other begins. So now if I come here, you can see that it's working perfectly, and you cannot tell where the seams are, and this is what we want. Now there's a problem. I can walk right through this this wall because it has no collisions. If I open up the content browser, I can see that, okay, I have the content browser open and just minimized. I can see that they all say no collision, no collision, no collision. For objects which are boxes like these are very simple to do. All we have to do is, let's just go to, we are in static meshes. I think it have a duplicate of everything here. Why do I have a duplicate of all of these? I'm not sure why it's actually doing this, but we don't need multiple copies of these. I'm just gonna go and delete these, the extra ones. Just make sure you don't delete if you do have the same problem. This is very odd actually, but if you do have the same problem, and make sure you don't delete the same model multiple times. So okay, delete that because I have a copy at the bottom. Not exactly sure why it's doing this. 2 copies of this, 2 copies of that. I'm supposed to have 11 assets altogether, 11 static meshes altogether. So let's have a look. How many do we have here? We have 12, which I think there's 1 extra. This one is, I believe, extra. Okay. So it seems like now I have all of the assets in there. Yeah, great. Okay, what I'm going to do now is save the package. I'm going to right click on this and click on save. I'm going to save this UPK file with the rest of the files. Mention here, I'm going to call this mention package. Okay, that's great. Now we have the mention package saved. However, most of these items don't have collisions. I mean, these ones, I don't think they have collision, or they shouldn't, because we didn't let's say it is fully loaded, so let's see what the problem is. Let's build geometry. No. So this one that says no collision does work. I'm sure there was a problem when I was importing these. I'm going to import these again. What am I actually do? Close UDK and open it again. Okay, UDK is open. I'm going to import those packages again, which is in desktop. Let's select them all and say open. I'm going to call this mention grouping static meshes. Name in this case is door. I'm going to say okay. This I'm going to just do them one by one. Main door frame, okay. Okay, okay. No, I still have. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video. I want to try to find a solution to this and I'll come back. Okay guys, I actually realized why that was happening. That was because for one of these models, when I was exporting it from 3D Studio Max, instead of clicking on export selected, I clicked on export, which meant it exported everything out, and that's what's was causing the problem there for us. But that's fine. So I've re-imported that, I fixed the problem. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to just overwrite the package that we had, which is in if I can find it, I should have a mention package here. Okay, so I'm just overwriting that file. Great. So now we have in our new packages, we should have a mention package. Let's have a look. Okay, maybe we have to open it because I've overwritten that file. So let's just see if we can open up that package. Okay, so I have the package here now. However, as demonstrated, these packages, or should I say these models, they do not have collision, which means if I was to play this game and I see the wall, I can walk right through this, and that's not what we want. We want to prevent that. For assets like this, which is just a simple box, it's very easy to fix. We can just double click on it and then go to collision and then just put in simple collision. You can even click on this icon here to see the collision, and that's fine. So now that has a collision, and then we no longer have the no collision error here. I'm going to do the same for all of these smaller ones, which are basically a box. These are the easiest ones to do. So you just want to put in your own collisions. You could of course create a box inside 3ds Max and name it, well, the name of your object and then underscore UCX. But of course we didn't do that. Same thing for the window. Now for these two, because this window and then this window and then the wall underneath it, these two, they are curved, and I would actually like my players to be able to walk to this area. So if I was to put a normal collision here, that would prevent players to go in there. So what I want to do is I want to put a auto convex collision, and in this menu I just want to play around with the settings a little bit. Let's apply this and see what we get. We get a shape like this. I would like to allow split until 20. Apply. That looks better now. That's kind of giving us a better collision. You could even try playing around with the depth. Of course, the more detail you put in, the more the different results you will get, and in some cases it will have too much information that it won't be able to cope, or it just becomes too much really. So you can play around with these numbers as well, try to get a good collision. So that's the collision for that, and then let's apply a similar collision to this as well. Oops. So that. Okay, that'll do for now. So now at this stage, I can go ahead and start building my level. I could try going to here and search for mansion. Find the image that we were working with and try to duplicate something like this. So I'm gonna jump back to UDK. I don't need Photoshop for now. I can close Photoshop. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I already have one of these boxes, so I want to leave that box there. What I might also do is delete the box which currently comes with UDK. So in the side, I might actually expand this window here and just put this to the side and scroll out. Okay, great. So what I have this wall, but before I put that wall in, of course, before that, I believe I need one of these to go in, and I could place that box over here and place this wall on top. And I believe let's just make sure that this is okay. They're the right side, but of course they're not at the right place. So the top one, I will take that from the top viewport and put that where it needs to be, which is in this case over here. Okay, so now that's good. We have the first wall set up. Content browser, I'm gonna get the, actually I believe I need this to be over here, and I need a cornered wall to be here. So I'm gonna bring one right here, slot that in, and then here I would want the window to go. The window can go, oops, here, and then I need this wall now. Of course, in the top viewport, I think that's a little bit off, so I might need to select it and position it correctly. Okay. Now, if we were to look at this here, we want the same wall to go on this side, but we want to duplicate, or we want to mirror it. So what I'm going to do is Alt and drag this and make a copy of it, put it here. To mirror it, I need to take the scale from 1 to -1. Well, actually, I need to leave that as 1, -1, yeah. And that will flip the wall for us. So now I could get a duplicate of this and just place that here, one too many. And then I could have a 32 corner going here. Let's make sure that it's at the right spot. Yeah. And then a normal 32 going next to it, which is this wall here. And then again, the corner one being duplicated by holding Alt, put on it on this side, and then I will need to hit -1 in order to duplicate it on the other side. Okay, so now we've built the front of the house. What we could do now in this case is continue building on top. Just to show you how this looks, I'm going to build the lighting. Okay, that's done. So we're going to now play the level. And this is how the level looks like. we're getting really nice shadows on our objects there, on the models. We can't really see the seam here, which is what we were aiming for, and that looks really good. We have the shadow on the floor, again, very good, and there's hardly any seam visible here, and that's great. And also the collision works, so when I hit the wall I cannot go through it, which is very ideal. I love the shadows. Okay, let's continue. I'm just gonna go and show you how it would be to create the side of this. So in this case, I would need to take that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring in one of these walls here, because that's all I need now, and I'm gonna close the content browser and just work with this. I have this and I need to duplicate it, but actually I think I need a duplicate out of this because that's already a corner. Sorry, I do need the corner actually. I'm gonna do that from, could do that from the side, could do that from the top, and I want to press space to go to my rotate tool, hold Alt and rotate that for 90 degrees, and now I need to mirror it, which means I will put -1 there, and that will mirror that for me. So now what we have is the two facing each other. If I was to play this, you will see that flickering effect there. That's because two polygons or two sides are right on top of each other. So in order to avoid that, we need to make sure, we need to make sure that in this case the wall sits at the right place. So there's a little Z fighting. I still have some Z fighting here. I should have taken this into consideration when I was modeling it. Let's what I could do here, I could delete this. I could just get a duplicate of this and rotate it for 100 and for just 90 degrees. Actually, I believe I rotated a copy, so I can delete that one. And from the top view, I'm just going to get the move tool and place that over here. Sorry, that needs to go over there. I could move this out of the way. So now the flickering effect has been avoided. It's no longer there, which is good and what we were aiming for. And now the same for this new box that we put here. So here I want to zoom out, rotate that for 90 degrees, and just move that on top over here. I think it's, yep, it needs to go back and it needs to come down. There we go. And this is how you would go about creating the whole thing. Now, I didn't pay too much attention when I was doing the side unwrapping. That's why we're having this very slight seam problem. But it's not that much, so I could build lighting. Okay, lighting's done. Let's have a look at how this looks. Not bad. I mean, from this distance it really doesn't matter, unless if we were to zoom in a lot, and to be honest, even at this stage it's not that apparent. So let's play it. So maybe I actually did a good job with. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, when we get up close, this close, then we can see something, but from a bit further back, it's hardly noticeable. And of course, collisions work as well, so we cannot run through this. I should be able to jump above this. No, it's too high to jump from it. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video here as it is, and I'll build this all together, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.